My 36-year-old wife, who is fit, had a very bad stroke 2 weeks ago. We've had a rough marriage for 3 years, and I think we both knew that we were getting close to ending things. We fought over something silly every day for 2 days in a row. We almost never had sex and never did anything together. We were both sick of it. All of that stopped making sense as soon as the stroke happened. It looked like the woman I fell in love with was stuck in her own thoughts, not knowing if she was hurting and not being able to do anything about it. For almost all of my awake hours, I have been by her side doing everything I could to help, support, encourage, laugh with, and love her as she healed. These 2 weeks have been the longest and worst of my life. It was very important to me that she knew I was her partner and would always be by her side. I looked forward to a long and happy life with her. She was sent from the hospital to outpatient treatment a few days ago. She's getting better. But every day she gets better. She's still often lost and says things that don't make sense. I was updating our friends and family almost every day through group text messages, but she was starting to use her phone again, which I pushed her to do. And she had been doing that for a few days now. I was glad to see that she was still texting some people regularly. Every time I saw her phone, she was texting the same guy I had never met. It was a coworker she had known for 4 months and had talked about a few times before. She fell asleep last night, with her phone on the bed next to her, and I was sitting next to her for my nighttime watch. There was a message on her screen telling her that he had texted her. It was right there, and I read it without even realizing it. "You are the strongest woman I've ever known," she said. I thought that was an odd thing to say to a coworker you've barely known for 4 months. When I saw it, I had to open it and see what all the fuss was about for the past few days. That was the last word I got from her. It was about how much she wants him and how attractive he is. It made no sense to me. I was still shocked when she woke up and had to go to the bathroom just like I have done a million times in the last 2 weeks. I stood outside the door, helped her to the bathroom, sat her down, and then closed the door. I helped her get back to bed when she was done. She knew something wasn't right. I stated, "Whatever the heck is going on between you and this guy ends now, or I'm going to walk out that door and not come back." I said, "Okay. What did that mean to you?" "It's done," she said. "I'm not going to talk to him anymore. He's already said, I don't want anything." "Forget you," I told them, and I left. What should I do? In Florida, married for 3 years, no kids. Even though we have good health insurance, she will still have to pay a lot for hospital bills and some kind of long-term care after the accident. She most likely isn't mentally sound right now, but she probably will be soon. Wow. I want to tell you how I feel, even though she had a stroke and all. You were there for her. You still told her, "Yo, it ends with him or I'm leaving." Then her answer did sound like it was made up. The only thing she said was okay. She just said okay, like she didn't care if it went the way I think it did. She then asked herself, "Who's going to take care of me?" "That guy won't take care of me like my husband does." She thought, "Oh, that's it. He doesn't need anything. To be with him, he would have had to want something." I'm glad you left that room. "Oh man, that's wild," some people would say. "That's very mean. That's not what you do. That's your spouse. Hey man, you need to do what you need to do. You won't just sit there and take care of someone. You know you can get them better, right? And everything is fine. Even more, you said that her mind will be fine again once she gets back together. Do you think she'll go away from that coworker? No, she's not going to shut up with him. After all the trouble they've had for so long taking care of this woman and getting her back to where she was, she leaves him. What does this guy look like? He didn't stay, he left. He left right away. That is wild. Wow. Here are some notes that we should read. "Well, I think our sub has found its new King F," someone said. Man, I feel bad reading all of this. Someone else said, "Being unfaithful does change how you feel about your partner, especially if you are the one who is cheating." The first time she cheated on me, I didn't care because I didn't think she and her AP were emotionally connected, and she had already broken up with him before I found out. After that, we were fine for a few years, But it had to happen again, and this time, it was a full-on event. I split up with her earlier this year. During the 17 years we were together, 14 years married, we always had great sex. So sex doesn't really matter. People who cheat do so, and that's it. Do not try to understand it. It won't make sense ever. They'll try to explain it by saying it was your fault, but know that it's not. There was a fight about it, but it doesn't have to be the end. Being with this person gives you what you want. Could you stay with her and help her while she heals, even if it's not as a SO? When it comes to medical bills, it sounds like you're in a tough spot. I don't think you're responsible for that, but Reddit's legal help might know. Keep going, and no matter what you do, don't give up. You might also want to look into how mental changes can happen when the brain has tumors or other problems with blood flow. You might have been dealing with a different person and will be dealing with a different person. I wish I had seen your message 9 years ago. After the first affair, we got back together, and now, 9 years later, we're back together again. It takes less than 60 days to sign file and finish the divorce process. The cheats don't change, but the APs do. He then says, "That's funny that you brought up a different personality. After the strokey, I'm back to being the silly, happy, young, fun-loving girl I fell in love with 5 years ago. Not the moody, selfish, angry, and bitter woman she turned into over the years. It may sound strange, but we've had a great time while she's been in the hospital and in rehab. It's harder to leave. Someone mentions, what sucks is you remembered the good times and went to help her. On the other hand, she kept going with the EA. She only tells you what she believes you need to hear. Someone told her to let the AP wipe her behind. Are we sure it was just an EA? Someone told you to look into it. Do not believe her, or she will say that the stroke caused the affair. You can take her phone, get or delete data from it, and look at her social media accounts, bank accounts, CCs, emails, and text messages. Someone else said that you'll probably find out everything in a week. I understand that at first she didn't understand. You had to tell her who you were and all that. But based on how quickly she went back to talking to him, I think her memories came back pretty quickly. That made me think. At that point, she knew who he was and what he had done or planned to do physically or mentally. Guys, let me check to see if he has any new information. Look at this. My wife had a stroke, and now I know she's cheating on me. Okay, so he only talks about her stroke again. Let's hear what he has to say. Let's take a look. That's something he has here, plus legal help. He did what someone told him to do and went to see a lawyer. After hearing this, I believe he will either try to make things right with his wife or stay to help her. But based on this legal advice, he says, BTW caused a stroke. For legal help. My wife, who is 36 years old, had 3 big strokes all at once. This doctor thought that her birth control pills may have played a part in making them happen. Her medical bills and the fact that she can't work have put us in a lot of financial problems. Is there anything she can do legally? It's Florida, by the way. The OBGYN started the medicines in Texas, and they were most recently revived in Louisiana. His question is about how to sue, so it looks like he went to that subreddit for legal help. We should take a quick look inside to see what he means. He seems like he's going to stay with her. So here's my question for you. What are you going to do? Your wife is having a terrible stroke. I get it. She has a stroke, and then you find out she's cheating on you. When you question her, she tells you, well, he didn't want a relationship anyway, so that's over. What are you going to do? I'm going to call her mom myself. I'm calling her brother, sister, cousin, or someone else. I'm leaving, so you need to go take care of your family member. Her only reason for not going after something with him was that he didn't want it and most likely she had a stroke. I'm not sure. I have no idea what it is. What are you going to do? In that case, what would you do? How long are you going to stay to make sure she gets better and then leave? Are you going to stay with her, care for her, and hope things go well? Are you going to leave?